Welcome back to Smitty's Learning Room. Today we're going to have a look at how are priority issues for Australia's health identified, and specifically looking at the measures of epidemiology. Now, the common indicators of the health of a community include measures of mortality, which is a death rate, infant mortality, morbidity, which is ill health or disease or illness, and life expectancy. Mortality refers to the number of deaths in a given population from a particular cause or over a period of time. Now, the main trends that you need to be able to identify for mortality rate is that obviously for all Australians, males and females, the mortality rate has decreased since 2001. It's also important to identify that for overseas born Australians, for both males and females, their mortality rates are lower than those of Australian born population as well. It's also interesting to have a look at the fact that the mortality rate for females is also lower for males, and we'll explore that in more depth during class time. Infant mortality refers to the number of infant deaths in the first year of life per 1,000 live births. And infant mortality can be divided into two categories. We have neonatal, which is deaths in the first 28 days of life, or post-neonatal, which refers to the deaths in the remainder of the first year of their life. By having a look at the graph here, the infant mortality rate in Australia has declined steadily over the past few decades. It's also important to note that the non-Indigenous rate is obviously much lower than the Indigenous rate, but you can see that the Indigenous infant mortality rate has decreased quite significantly between the years of 1998 and 2012. Morbidity refers to the incidence or level of illness, disease or injury in a given population. It's important to identify that morbidity does not result in death. But information about the incidence and prevalence of these conditions in a whole population gives us a broader perspective on the nation's health than just having a look at mortality statistics. Now, morbidity measures can come from a range of different areas, including hospital usage, doctor visits and Medicare statistics, health surveys and reports, and disability and handicap, and the incidents or accidents that can lead to impairment and disabilities. Life expectancy is the length of time a person can expect to live. So, for example, it refers to the average number of years of life remaining to a person at a particular age based on the current death rates. Life expectancy at birth is a common indicator of health status and is often used as evidence in statements about the improved health of Australians. For example, life expectancy is now far greater than what it was a few decades ago and is increasing. It's also important to note that the life expectancy for Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, the gap between those are slowly decreasing. It's important to note that these are just some general statements about measures of epidemiology for mortality, infant mortality, morbidity and life expectancy. During class time, we'll have a look at some further research and have a look at the reports to analyse current trends in life expectancy and the major causes of morbidity and mortality for the general population, and we'll also compare males and females and non-Indigenous and Indigenous Australians as well.